Right now, I hold in my hands a very, very important disc to me. On this channel, if you followed for a while, I've made a couple videos on throwing putters. I had a whole video where I tried to look for the perfect throwing putter, kind of picking up stuff that I thought was interesting. The fact that I didn't try this disc is kind of wild to me at this point. And I also made a video about the Pure, which when I got it was a disc I pretty much fell in love with, which I still like, but it's not quite what I wanted when I'm thinking of the perfect throwing putter. It's more of like an understable slot for me. This disc, however, I grabbed on a whim after I made that video about all the throwing putters because I wasn't 100% in love with the Reiko, which ended up being my choice. And ever since I made that decision to go pick this disc up on a whim, it has not left my bag, and it has been maybe the most important throwing putter I've ever bagged. That disc is the Lux Vapor Logic, otherwise known as the Cosmic Fury 1. Now there is a Cosmic Fury 2, I own one, but I haven't really thrown it all that much because I don't have a need to. I love this guy right now. If you've thrown it, let me know the difference between the 1 and the 2, and maybe I'll try it out if there's a reason to throw it. But for now, it kind of sits on a shelf. This disc has been perfect for me for quite some time. To illustrate why this disc is so good, I'm gonna play 18 holes here at the Riverton Whites layout, and I'm only gonna throw this disc off the tee and for all my upshots. I'll putt with my normal putting putters because I'll probably putt terribly if I try to putt with this, but I'm gonna try to play a full 18 with this and we'll see how well I can do. There's gonna be a lot of shots on this that'll really show you why this disc is so good. Just like as a quick overview, the reason it's so good is because, one, it is a true point and shoot disc. A lot of people call a lot of discs point and shoot. This is. You throw it flat on hyzer, it pushes on hyzer the whole way. You throw it dead flat, it goes dead flat. It doesn't turn over if you hit it too hard. It doesn't hyzer out at the end. It goes dead straight the whole way. If you put it on anhyzer, it slowly drifts on anhyzer the entire way. It is the most perfect disc I have ever thrown. But enough talking. Let's put my money where my mouth is and start throwing this thing. Hole 1 is a little hyzer. Should be able to park it pretty easy. Oh, didn't give it the height. A little long putt, pin high. Now if this disc were a little more overstable, could have finished out, bent towards the basket. That's not what this disc is for. It's all about putting it on the right angle. It does exactly what you want it to. You needed to give that a little more height, a little more hyzer. How about a little slightly long putt? Oh, doesn't even matter. Always good when you can save yourself with the putter. Seems like we have a slight headwind as well, so gonna have a bit of an effect. This is kind of like an overstable putter shot, so not the perfect line for this disc, and it's a little bit short with some headwind, so we will have to give it the height, but it should be able to just glide all the way there if I give it enough hyzer. You might be able to see the basket. It's like tucked to the left a little bit in that ditch over there. I might have thrown that a little too hard. Oh no, I almost aced. I think that's parked. And just like that, we're 2 for 2. 2 down, not bad. Typically on hole 3, there's like a left side gap that you probably can't see with the way I got the camera set up, where you can just throw a forehand hyzer. Don't normally throw up the middle, but I mean, it's a tight gap. You throw this thing confidently, it'll go exactly where you put it. So all I gotta do is hit it flat. Only thing I'm worried about is going too long. This putter, another thing that's great about this disc is it'll go so far. I can almost throw it 400 if I really give it the right angle and enough power. I think that's parked. Oh yeah, just about 10 feet long, I would say. 3 for 3. Okay, I think our birdie streak has a good chance of coming to an end here. Personally on this hole, I think it's like 310, maybe a couple feet uphill. I like to go forehand halo destroyer, so going with a putter, I mean, I could certainly reach it, but you can see how the left gap has room to kind of swing out there and come back in. Up the middle, a lot of trees in the way. But if I can throw it right, I mean, just kind of have to beat those late trees on the right, and it should be able to go the whole way. This thing will go far. The low ceiling is really the only hard part. Nah, see, too much uphill. We'll get our par, move on. The one thing I didn't really think about until just now is I'm gonna have to throw backhand up shots if I hit some trees. Normally I'd like a little forehand here, but should be pretty easy. Just a little, I wanna say 150 to 160 in. Yeah, not a problem at all. Never mind. This is a good reminder to always get yourself to do things outside of your comfort zone. Someone who came from Ultimate, I used to love backhand up shots like that, and I've become a lot more forehand reliant because I like the looking at the target the whole way and just getting a little wrist snap. But I love the way that forehand felt, or that backhand felt. Like, I might start doing that more often just because I tried it just there. Kind of unavoidable on this part in the course. Got the sun blasting in our face. You got a little bit uphill, a little over 320. Kind of goes downhill at the end. Pretty much perfect shot for this. Should sit really nice. I almost aced this yesterday with this disc. Didn't have the sun quite in my eyes because it was cloudy, so we'll see if I can throw this accurately, and hopefully you can see it. Looks good, feels good. Could ace, just under the basket. Kind of came in under the cage. Hopefully you can see it. How many park jobs have we had already? We're 5 holes in, and this is what, my 3rd park job? It goes where you want it. All right, 4 down through 5. I'm pretty sure on this layout, the last tournament that played the whites here, I believe 8 down was 1,000 rated. So we have half as many birdies through 5 holes as we need to get to 1,000 rated, throwing only 1 disc, a putter. So not gonna hold my breath, anything could happen. And as I say that, hole 6 here, I think is about 390. It says it's like 360 on U-disc. It is not. I can almost get this there. I could get it within a putt, C2 putt. We'll see if I can do it right now. Most likely gonna end up a little bit left, as this is gonna finish left a little bit at the end. But I'm gonna try my best to juice it. I think it's a bit too much hyzer. Like I said, left C2. Probably too much hyzer to get all the way there. I'm gonna guess 50 feet. This is certainly not a bad putt to have on a 390-foot hole with a putter shot. Gotta go up and down or around this bush right in front of me. Oh, honestly, 5 down through 6 would be crazy with a putter, because that would legitimately be better than my best score through 6 with my entire bag. Okay, we're gonna get to test the anhyzer capabilities of this guy here. We got a Mando on that tree next to the T sign there. I think we're in the short, so it says 360. I think that's including the dog leg, because it's probably like 250 actually, or like 280. Just gonna put it on some anhyzer, hope it pans out pretty well. I've been liking the forehand on this hole lately, so haven't played this big anhyzer line in a while. But in theory, we should be able to do it. It should be able to get pretty dang close. I think that could be it. It might have just missed some branches. I think it's parked. If not, it's very close. Got to a pretty manageable putt, probably about 10 to 12 feet. I believe that's 5 down through 7 with a putter. That's good with any disc. Okay, we've got kind of a challenging hole here with hole 8. I tend to like to throw something a little flippier so I can hit it on hyzer and get it to move right. Because as you can see, all the trees are kind of slanted that way ever so slightly. So hitting something stable, you know, if you push right, you're hitting the trees, and if you fade left, you're gonna hit the trees on the left. So you kind of want something that's gonna push just after you get past that first set of trees. I'm gonna try to mitigate that by giving it a tiny bit of turn, or kind of almost hitting it flat and then letting it fade towards the end. Kind of happy with a par in this one, but in theory, about 270 putter shot, dead straight, should be pretty easy. Just a small gap. Potentially a little too much turn. All right, I think I'm gonna bush putting in the circle though. Alrighty, looks like we've gone a little bit long and right, kind of in this little ditch over here. Gonna be awkward, but for sure makeable. Yeah, definitely a little awkward. I think I'm gonna get on a knee here. Yeah, that's the best view here. Oh my gosh. That's, is that 6 down through 8? That's like my best score through 8 here, for sure. Like, there's no way I've done better than that before. All right, we're on to what I'm gonna call pretty much unbirdieable hole number 1, or at least not able to get into circle 1. The gap you wanna hit is right where that cone is, between those 2 trees. If you look to the left of the cone, you got 2 trees right next to each other. Right in between those, I got you lined up so you can see the basket. So that's kind of where I'm shooting. I think this hole's like 360-ish, plays a little bit uphill typically, because we have those little tiny trees in the back there, halfway down the fairway. You want to flex out like a Firebird or something, out to the right, and then come back and fade towards the basket. I'm just going to hit the putter flat through the middle of the gap, hopefully push to the right of those middle trees, and then fade back for a putt. In theory, it's possible. In practice, I think it's going to be pretty hard, but we're on a pretty great pace right now, so just staying clean is the name of the game right now. I tried to throw it too hard and just overturned it. I didn't give it any highs, right? I pretty much did my normal release, maybe a little bit less Annie, because I'm so used to throwing anhyzer on this hole. That's okay, we'll get a par, move on. I mean, that is legitimately the first time I've ever thrown something that's not a Firebird or a Draco on this hole, so probably somewhere in my brain there's a connection, a synapse firing, just says release it on anhyzer. Haven't really unlearned it. How crazy would that be? That was a little low. Probably close enough that I don't need to get my putting putters out of my bag. Just sucked my fingers a little bit. All right, I believe if I'm keeping count correctly, we are 6 down through the front 9. Really only missed the ones that I was expecting to miss and have gotten literally everything else, like parked a lot of them, which is pretty sweet. Like I said, 8 down is 1,000, I believe, or right around there. I think last time I saw the scores for this tournament, or tournament here, 8 down was like 1,005. So we're on track to shoot a really good round. We have a, I don't know how long hole, somewhere in the mid 200s range. So perfect for this disc. Gonna hit it flat, maybe give it a tiny bit of anhyzer so it doesn't finish left, because I think last time I threw on this hole I went a little left, and try to just get clean through everything and have a putt. Pretty easy hole. Could pick up another here. That's gotta get lucky. Caught a branch, that was too high. Looks like we got lucky enough to have a long circle 2 look, maybe even circle 3. I'll give it kind of a bid, but in all likelihood, just taking a par here. Way too high. Honestly, a layup would have been smarter. This isn't exactly a tap-in, although I did want to make it. All right, now we're at the part of the course where we're gonna run into a stretch of holes that are gonna be very tough to birdie, and I'm gonna be happy with some pars. Just gonna try and get through them clean, especially this one, because you can kick to a spot that's gonna give you a bogey for sure, and I gotta scramble with this thing only. It's 210, very reachable, but it's like a very specific right moving shot, very tight tunnel. Doesn't really show you, but I'll maybe show you once we get to the basket what the tunnel looks like on the other side. I typically throw like a tactic or something overstable on like a light hyzer that pushes and then just fades out and kind of lands on the left side of the basket. Technically could do it here, but I'm thinking we just try to get as far up there as we can and maybe have a putt, but most likely take a par. I didn't give it any anhyzer. Okay, we're on the edge. I think we have a putt. Easy par if anything else. So this is the gap looking back. Right there is where the long tee is, and the short tee is kind of over there. I think the short tee is honestly a little bit harder, but you got to come this way down the path and then back out this way, and then basket's over here. I believe my putter is somewhere in here. Honestly, like looking at this gap now, I don't normally look back at it. I think the last like 3 times I've played this layout, I parked it with a forehand, and I don't even know how I did that consistently. I think I just got lucky every time, because that gap is very specific and very small. All right, we got another circle 2 putt. Would be a nice birdie to get, but very hard to get with the backhand. I try not to trip myself. Still trip myself a little bit. Tough to make those putts when you got stuff just kind of pulling on your legs as you're stepping through. Take a peek here. Basket's tucked back there. The hole is 340, which is certainly in range, but if you can tell, I don't know if you can tell, but that tree hanging off to the left, and then the stuff also in line with the basket is pretty low ceiling, and it's like probably 60 to 80 feet from the basket. So you really got to get something turning and low ceiling to get enough room to slide up there, and the grass will grab it. So you got to just hit the ceiling perfectly. So going to be hard to do with a putter. I'm still going to try. In all likelihood, going to have a long putt. Best case scenario, we'll just give it some anhyzer. Kind of throw it like I did, I think, what was it, on hole 9, where I accidentally flexed it a little bit. Maybe it could work. Maybe I've done it. That's my best shot on this hole ever, I think. That might be parked. Before we get up to the disc, just to get an idea, here's the ceiling for the leads. Like, not that far above me, maybe 20 feet in the air, and the basket's still way back there. So you have this really low ceiling here to get through, and then get all the way up there. I cannot believe that just happened. I threw a destroyer on a forehand the other day and left it too low and landed at like 60 feet short on the left. And I just parked it, almost parked it, 15-footer with a putter. Wow. Just gonna zoom in for you. There's that Mando sign right there. Okay, I know I said we're going into a stretch of very difficult to birdie holes. I wasn't expecting to get that one, even though it's certainly within range, but clearly I'm capable of it. I highly doubt I'm gonna birdie this one. I know I already said that I wouldn't birdie one and got it. We got that Mando on the left, low ceiling the whole way pretty much. You gotta get way left. So basket's tucked back behind those bushes. So you gotta get really left, and even with an overstable disc, you're unlikely to get a skip as this ground is quite grabby. So typically I'm hitting an overstable 9-speed, like a Draco, hard, almost trying to split the 2 trees where the Mando sign is, just right of the Mando if possible, and hope you land at a spot that's puttable with a logic, probably unlikely, can't really give it any height, not gonna be overstable. Gonna try and just get as far as I can and have a circle 2 putt. Maybe try and give it height and sneak through the higher part, because as long as we make the Mando, it's pretty much a guaranteed par. But you also have this stuff hanging off on the right, so you can't really put a big pushing hyzer either. These branches are really challenging any shot that isn't hard up the middle and flat. How did I just get that lucky? I just missed every branch, and I think maybe parked it. You know, I know there's some of you that might be thinking, oh, we throw in like 5 to 10 shots in every hole just to make a good video. I got here at like 5:30. I only have an hour and a half before the sun sets. I don't have enough time to do that. And I wish that I threw 10 shots to get this, because this is better than any shot I've ever thrown. And I literally just got lucky through everything. I mean, this is just completely parked. Let me just show you like the gap that I just went through, actually. Like I went through, not that, I went through that. I just went through all of that. There is no gap. That just went through everything to get to the basket there. Okay, onto the island hole. T sign says 237. That is completely wrong. It's 185. I just ranged it. The circle you got to land on is slightly smaller than circle 1, I think. I'm not actually entirely sure. And it doesn't have a big wall. There are some spots where the wood's a little higher, some spots where it's a little lower and you can just slide off. There's a walking path up the back of it that you can just slide off. That's happened to me before. Typically I throw something overstable on a forehand, let it crash in, because there's that stupid bush on the right side, so you can't really go backhand. And then you use the overstability to not go long. I don't really like throwing the backhand here, so even though I'm having a crazy round, I think I'm at -8. So if I par out, this is a 1,000 rated round, or maybe very close to it. If we're being incredibly conservative, somewhere in the 990s. I think I'm just gonna throw it on a hyzer and hope it gets through, because I don't really trust the anhyzer, I don't think. No, fuck it. I'm just gonna throw an anhyzer. I really don't like that I have to throw this shot right now, but I did start this challenge and I can't just pull out my approach disc and throw a forehand. So here we go. Let's hope we don't kill the good round. There it is, easy. Just another great shot. I mean, I guess I'm throwing this disc in every hole, so I'm pretty used to it at this point. I never throw that shot, but I did it perfect somehow. My apologies if it's a little dark here. I think we're at 9 down now. I haven't really been super keeping score, just kind of in my head, but I'll put some graphics on screen for each hole. We got a par 4. I think it's somewhere in the range of 450-ish. Lots of trees in the way, river on the left that you can kick into. So if I lose this, I'll be very upset. I'm just gonna throw an easy backhand, kind of flat, try to get it to finish left a little bit, so maybe I have a hyzer in, but really just wanna stay safe. Probably not gonna birdie this hole, and don't wanna lose my disc, that's for sure. Oh. I don't think I mentioned it, but it's OB right, kind of the whole way down, and there is a right gap that you probably can't see at all. I guess I'll show it as I walk up. And I just overturned it a little bit and accidentally made it down that entire gap, which I was not expecting at all. The amount of discs that I've lost in this river to bad tree kicks on this hole and then the other hole that I throw that anhyzer on is too high to count. So I was very nervous about losing one here. I've literally lost a disc during a league here and ordered a new disc during the round. But so here I'll show you, here is that right side gap there. So it's OB here, and I overturned it and went on this right side gap, and there's the left side over here. So I think we're over there somewhere. All right, unfortunately, it looks like we've gone a little bit too far left after finishing. By the way, OB is like right there, about 4 feet to my left there. So pretty good that we finished left, but a little bit too far left. Basket's kind of up here. Typically I'd throw like a zone or something on a flex shot from this position. Can't really do that right now. I guess I'll just throw like a forehand anhyzer and just try to get way up on the left side for a putt. Probably an easy par. Pretty happy with where we landed. That was absolutely awful, but it's probably a par. Okay, we're right in the middle of the fairway. I'm not even gonna set anything up or run this. Just gonna lay it up. Camera and tripod in hand. Whoa. Okay, we're running out of daylight. We got 3 holes to go. Okay, the sun set 5 minutes ago and the ISO is cranked all the way up on my camera. We got a little bit of sunlight left. These next 2 holes are just hyzers, like 200 feet with a bunch of trees. You just kind of have to get through them all. I'm just gonna play them both with no commentary. We'll talk on 18. I wanna try and get this done, not in the dark. Bad kick, it's okay. Of course, the last tree to beat is the one I hit. I blame the fact that I'm rushing. Gotta go fast, gotta go fast. I apologize if you can't see anything. I will tell you if the shot is good or not. Probably too far right. Yep, you're taking a par. Okay, it looks like we're back out where there's a little bit of light now. Not much though. Not much at all. It's getting dark. All right, last hole, 18. U-disc says 607. I don't know, I can try and range it and guess. I'm not gonna be able to hit the basket from here, but yeah, rangefinder says like 625, most likely. Gettable with this, but another one of those low ceiling sort of late areas where you gotta get up to the green. Just gonna try and throw it as hard as I can, pretty much flat out there. Then the basket's a little bit back to the left, you can't really see it right now. And got a bunch of trees to contend with. Usually wanna go overstable to skip into the green somewhere. Might be able to make something happen if I can get right enough, can play the hyzer, because there's a bit of room on the right. But try and finish this up so I can finish this video before we totally run out of sunlight. I think I slipped a little bit. We'll just play it for par and finish the round. I think we're at 9 down if we par this, which is, I think, 1,015, 1,010, which is insane. I'm just gonna hit a big hyzer, take the par, move on. See, why couldn't I have done that off the tee? Since my only forehand with this disc in this video is terrible, I'm gonna risk it all and throw a forehand up shot. And now I gotta make a 25 footer. In the dark too. I don't know why I decided to throw a forehand. I literally could have just jumped out of it. I can't even see anything. Oh my gosh. I almost left it low. Okay, had to rush through last couple holes there, but I'm pretty sure if I was keeping track correctly, that was a 9 down round. Really hot in the beginning. I think I went 6 through the first 9, missed like 1 or 2 easy ones, and then in the last 3 holes, realized the sun had set and needed to play the last 3 with the tiny bit of light I had left. And you could probably tell it's very dark now. So I think in all likelihood, probably could have gotten 1 or 2 more birdies, putting me at 10 or 11 down, which is just, with my entire bag, I'd be very happy with that round. I would say somewhere around 10-20 to 10-30, given that I had like that extra birdie in there. Because honestly, those last 16 and 17, I got the birdie on that. Yeah, man, this disc, so good, can do so much. You saw it right there. I just played over 1,000 rated just throwing this disc. Probably would have been like a top 3 career round for me at this point, which is just crazy. And I did it with the sun setting after work and with a putter while carrying around a camera. But yeah, that's that. This disc is sick. Pick it up at OTB if you want. I don't know what my code's gonna be for the fall, but I will have a code for the fall/winter quarter of the year, so look out for that. I'll see you next time. Peace.